Ashley Dawson, Extreme Cities, Climate Chaos and the Urban Future. Extreme Cities, Climate Chaos and the Urban Future by Ashley Dawson dives into the harsh reality of climate change and its impact on cities. The book highlights the vulnerabilities of coastal cities such as Miami, New Orleans, and New York, as well as the devastating social consequences of climate inaction. Furthermore, Dawson discusses how environmental engineering projects often exacerbate the problems they aim to solve through blowback, leading to unforeseen issues down the line. As you explore this summary, you'll gain valuable insights into the intricate relationship between urban development, climate change, and the growing divide between the rich and the poor.
The impending doom of Miami. Miami, a great American city, is in danger of being wiped out due to climate change. As a coastal city, it has a vulnerability to sea level rise, and with its porous limestone sitting foundation, migrating seawater continues to permeate the city. In addition, the expensive pumps installed to manage water problems only compound issues by mixing sewage with the drinking water supply, a practice that puts residents at risk of contamination. Meanwhile, Miami's power source relies heavily on vulnerable coastal regions that are susceptible to frequent flooding and hurricanes. Even worse, reports suggest that the nuclear station contaminates the city's water with radioactive waste. Although official projections suggest Miami has a few decades to prepare for the worst, it's likely that the city will collapse sooner than anticipated, yet no one dares to speak out for fear of hurting the city's thriving real estate market. Even Governor Rick Scott denies the true cause of climate change and takes no action. Meanwhile, wealthy inhabitants of condos with ocean views enjoy their property, ignoring the impending catastrophe that could render it uninhabitable within the decade. Louisiana's coastal catastrophe. Louisiana is witnessing a catastrophic loss of land the size of Manhattan every month due to short-sightedness, corruption, and harmful human activity. The engineering approach meant to prevent flooding is creating a devastating blowback effect, starving inland areas of water and depriving delta wetlands of the sediment they require. Environmental engineering has led to catastrophic consequences by inadvertently causing more issues than resolving. Oil and gas companies drilling in the wetlands and killing marsh plants have only added to the problem. Louisiana's coast needs urgent evacuation now, demanding a complete turnaround from oil and gas exploration. New York City's greenwashing on climate resilience and social equity. Despite New York City's claims of being climate-aware and resilient, construction and development continue to occur in the floodplain, contradicting the PLNYC initiative. Consultants advised the city to retreat from flood-prone areas and install waterfront parks as barriers. However, capitalism prevailed, and Jamaica Bay, the largest salt marsh in the city, has suffered due to pollution and sea level rise. Past engineering and pollution have destroyed natural barriers, leaving the city to build concrete seawalls that worsen conditions in Jamaica Bay. The need for additional construction raises costs, and environmental engineering destroys natural protections, leading to a cycle of fixing what past fixes broke. Holland's battle against rising seas. Holland has been successful in holding back the ocean with engineering feats, but its river defenses partially block rivers which are now a threat to the land areas due to increasing rainfall caused by climate change. Dutch leaders acknowledge that more severe storms are coming and neither ocean barriers nor river defenses will prevail against this. Thus, the government advises a gradual retreat from river shores and calls for a home-by-home approach, rooftop gardens, tree planting, and solar and wind energy sources. Holland accepts that mass retreat will one day be the only option. Climate change impacts on the poor. Climate change affects the poor more than the wealthy, mainly in southern cities and developing nations. The wealthiest contribute more to emissions, leading to extreme weather that displaces people and causes conflict. Rich nations put up walls to keep out climate refugees and cite fear to justify contracting private firms for disaster capitalism. Thousands of people die every year trying to enter wealthy nations, which let the poor suffer. Officials' fear of climate refugees masks their hypocrisy, lack of empathy, and forgetfulness of the past violence Westerners wreaked on colonies. The environmental apocalypse. Acidification of the oceans due to climate change is killing important marine life, and the rising sea levels pose a grave danger to urban areas. Even though sea level rise projections suggest a 6.6 feet increase by 2100, experts believe the melting of ice fields in Greenland and Antarctica could add over 200 feet to the oceans. Conservative estimates indicate that the world is locked into 4 degrees Celsius higher temperatures by that year. Adaptation and resilience initiatives have been designed to protect homes and cities from natural disasters, but many projects are proving to be counterproductive. The Big U in Manhattan, for instance, creates a false sense of security and directs floodwaters to vulnerable areas, endangering communities. The worst-hit victims of these catastrophes will be the poorest people in cities. The apocalypse is already here, but its slow arrival makes people reluctant to act with necessary urgency. Beyond resilience. Ecosystems face a tipping point of no return from damage, and adaptation alone won't cut it. Despite wealthy communities circumventing their responsibility for sustainable practices, solutions must include marginalized communities. Ecosystems are capable of bouncing back from various forms of destruction and returning to normality. However, problems arise when damages sustained are beyond a crucial point of no return, such as with ocean acidification. Many tend to offer adaptation and resilience solutions to deal with the situation, but they are inadequate. This perspective merely avoids real efforts directed to change current destructive practices. Adaptation strategies often fall to the responsibility of those who cannot afford resilience, such as the poor, leading to their criminalization and displacement. Coastal cities are the most affected by climate change, but they are also guilty of driving it. Breakwaters provide better short-term protection than seawalls for coastal areas. Scientists propose seeding breakwaters with baby oysters to speed up the repopulation of other species, restore wetlands, and purify water from pollutants. However, it is vital to note that projects that tackle the effects instead of causes are short-term solutions. We must address and resolve the root causes to achieve sustainable change. Grassroots response to climate change. The only way for humankind to survive the looming threat of climate change is through a massive communal effort. Retreat and relocation are the only functional adaptation measures in the medium term. Disasters often unite members of all socio-economic groups in a common effort, as shown by the success of Occupy Sandy, which was more immediate and flexible than official aid groups. However, forces working against these community groups often dismantle their solidarity after a disaster. If movements like Occupy Sandy could gain enough power and momentum to defeat the capitalist system, a more balanced solution might emerge to protect people and the environment. Only a massive response can save society, addressing the industrialized nation's wrongs by acknowledging the rights of climate migrants to relocate to safer places and paying for adaptation. This may require redirecting military budgets and profits from the financial and oil industries to underwrite restoration projects and renewable energy initiatives. Tackling climate change. Society needs to take aggressive action to combat climate change and move away from growth-driven capitalism. The author proposes ending new fossil fuel drilling and deforestation, and replacing air travel with high-speed trains. Surviving the effects of climate change means working together to build better communities and unseating those who profit from the damage they've caused. It's time to step off the consumption treadmill and start investing in sustainable solutions like growing food and planting trees.
In conclusion, Extreme Cities offers an unflinching look at how climate change poses an existential threat to cities around the world, and disproportionately affects the poor. Ashley Dawson calls on humanity to embrace massive communal responses to face climate change head-on, to stop pursuing harmful practices that are driving the crisis, and redirect resources from destructive industries towards adaptation, restoration, and renewable energy. The book emphasizes that survival depends on a collective effort to overthrow the capitalist system and interests, perpetuating the climate crisis and urges readers to take action before it's too late.